All right, get ready because today we're going deep on the Enneagram.
Ooh, I love this topic.
It's way more than just like, oh, are you a peacemaker or are you a perfectionist?
Right.
This is about like understanding yourself in a really, really deep way
Yeah.
and using that knowledge to like seriously level up your life, your relationships, your work, everything.
Yeah, it impacts every area of your life, for sure.
So we are pulling our insights today from the Enneagram, free test and complete guide to 9 Enneagram personality types, subtypes, and wings
Right.
by Personality NFT.
Awesome resource.
So good. Okay, so first things first, like what is the Enneagram?
Hold it. So
And how is it different from all these other personality tests out there,
Yeah.
like Myers-Briggs and all that stuff?
the Enneagram, it's really about digging deep into the WHY behind your actions. It's a system of 9 interconnected personality types, and each type has its own core fears and desires. So it's really looking at what's driving you on a very deep level.
Okay, so, but like, how is that different?
Yeah.
I took the Myers-Briggs once.
Uh-huh.
I got INFJ.
Yep.
Still have no idea what that means.
Yeah, and that's a common experience. It's just sort of this label.
Right.
So with the Enneagram, it's less about just labeling yourself, and it's more about actually understanding those motivations that are shaping you.
Okay.
It's kind of like Myers-Briggs might tell you how you process information, but the Enneagram would actually reveal why you seek out certain information in the first place.
Yeah.
What is it you're actually trying to achieve by knowing that information?
So it's like the Enneagram's like why are you driving the car?
Yeah.
And Myers-Briggs is more like,
Exactly.
how does the car work?
Yes. That's a great analogy. So
Right.
yeah, it helps you to really understand those core desires, like where are you going with this?
Okay.
And what are those roadblocks, those fears that are maybe holding you back?
So let's talk about like each type.
Okay.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty, like what makes each type tick. I'm dying to know.
Okay, so let's just start with the 3 centers of intelligence.
Okay.
So you have the instinctive center, which is, it's all about your gut feelings, those survival instincts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the feeling center. This is really what governs your emotions and relationships.
Okay.
And then there's the thinking center. And this center is focused on logic, analysis, planning,
Right.
all that.
Okay, so each type is like kind of anchored in.
Yeah, exactly.
Beliefs.
Exactly. Each center houses 3 of the Enneagram types.
Gotcha.
So the instinctive center, that would include types 8, 9, and 1.
Okay.
The feeling center would be 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And the thinking center has 5, 6, and 7.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Yeah.
Each type. Let's
Yeah.
start with type 1, the perfectionist. What is their like deepest fear? What's their deepest desire?
Okay. So for 1, their core fear is being corrupt or defective. So this often looks like a real drive for perfection in their life. They hold themselves, and often others, to these incredibly high standards.
So that's why they like spend 3 hours organizing their sock drawer
Exactly.
and over prepare for every presentation. It's all stemming from this like deep fear.
Absolutely. And their desire then is to be good, to make things right. They really want to live a life of integrity and create order in the world around them.
Okay. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So type 2, the helper.
Okay.
What makes them tick?
So 2s, they're really driven by this deep desire to feel loved and appreciated.
Okay.
And their fear is being unwanted or unworthy of love.
Oh.
So they often express their love by helping others, often to the point that they neglect their own needs.
I know so many 2s.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we all do.
always going above and beyond for everyone else.
They're incredibly generous. They're wonderful, supportive friends. But they can sometimes struggle to set boundaries and, prioritize their own well-being.
So it's like understanding that their need to help is coming from this like place of like fearing rejection.
Absolutely.
That's really helpful in terms of how you approach a relationship with the 2, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Once you understand their motivations, you can appreciate their strengths, and then you can communicate with them in a way that really honors those needs.
Totally. Okay. Type 3, the achiever. I'm sensing their fear might be failure.
You're right on track. 3s are terrified of being worthless or unsuccessful, and they're driven by this desire to achieve and be admired for their accomplishments.
Yeah. It's almost like they're like constantly trying to prove their worth through external validation.
Exactly. And they can be incredibly driven, they can be incredibly successful, But it's so important for them to remember that their value goes way beyond just their achievements.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how would that be different from, like, say, somebody whose scores really high on the big five?
Yep.
Personality trait, conscientiousness. Like, is that the same thing?
That's such a good point. Or is it different?
It's different because someone who's high in conscientiousness, they might just be really organized and goal-oriented. Whereas a 3, it's fueled by that deeper fear of failure. Like they need to succeed to feel valuable.
Gotcha. Okay. That's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
Okay. Type 4, the individualist. What makes them so unique?
So 4s, they have this deep desire to be seen and understood for their authentic selves. And their greatest fear is being ordinary or insignificant. They crave connection, they crave meaning, and they often express themselves through creative pursuits.
Okay. So they're always like searching for that special something that makes them stand out, makes them different.
Yeah, they're looking for that thing that sets them apart. And this can lead them to sometimes romanticize their struggles or feel like they're the only ones who truly understand their pain. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's about helping them like see that like their uniqueness is valuable.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to come from feeling isolated or different.
Beautifully said. Yeah.
Okay. Type 5, the investigator.
Yes.
I'm ready to investigate. What drives these knowledge seekers?
So 5s are fascinated by knowledge and understanding. That's really at their core. Their core fear is being helpless or incompetent.
Okay.
So they build up all this wealth of information as a way to feel safe and self-sufficient.
So they're almost like creating this like
Yes.
protective shield.
It is a shield.
Elvage.
It is. They often crave solitude and independence because it allows them to really delve into their interests without feeling drained by a lot of social interaction.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Type 6, the loyalist. I mean, that just sounds like super dependable.
They are. 6s are all about loyalty and security. That's really, really important to them. And their deepest fear is being without that support or guidance. So they look for those trusted authorities and systems to give them a sense of stability.
But I imagine that can also lead to a lot of anxiety.
Yes.
Right. Like
Right.
always worrying about what could go wrong
Yeah.
and needing a lot of reassurance.
Absolutely. That's a really common struggle for 6s. So for them, it's learning to trust their own inner compass. Yeah. And find that security from within.
Okay. Type 7, the enthusiast.
Yes.
They sound fun.
They are the life of the party.
Okay.
They're driven by a fear of missing out and a desire for fun and stimulation.
So it's not just like being like happy-go-lucky. It's like
Right.
this deeper fear that's like driving all this pursuit of excitement.
Right. 7s are terrified of boredom and pain, and they want to experience everything that life has to offer. So that makes it hard for them to sometimes commit or stay present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Type 8, the challenger.
Yes.
They sound pretty intense.
They are. 8s are very powerful. They're assertive. They're driven by this need for control and autonomy.
Okay.
And they fear being controlled or harmed by others.
So it's almost like their strength and dominance, it's like a defense mechanism.
It is. They can feel very vulnerable deep down, so they have to project this strong exterior to kind of protect themselves.
Okay. So it's interesting how like almost all of these are like, you know, their behavior is almost like in response to
Absolutely.
some deep inner fear.
It is. They want to be in charge. They want to feel in control to make sure that they're safe and that the people that they care about are safe.
Okay. I'm starting to
Yeah.
like see like a pattern here with all these types.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Type 9, the peacemaker.
Okay.
Tell me all about them.
Okay. So 9s, they're all about harmony and avoiding conflict. Their core fear is loss and separation, so they really try to maintain that peace and stability in their relationships at all costs.
So they're like the masters of compromise, like going with the flow.
Yes, exactly. And they're incredibly easygoing and agreeable, but it's so important for them to learn to assert their own needs and set those boundaries so that they don't get lost in other people's agendas.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot here.
We have.
It's amazing to me, like, to see how, like, understanding these core motivations can really transform how you interact with everybody in your life.
Yeah, yeah.
But so we've talked about all the types. I think we've covered all 9.
We did?
Where do wings fit into all of this?
Okay, yeah.
Because I've heard that term thrown around a lot, but like
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what it means.
Okay, so wings are like adding spices to a dish, you
Oh,
know?
okay.
They create depth and complexity. So each Enneagram type has two wings,
Okay.
and it's the types that are on either side of it on the Enneagram circle.
Okay. So like a 4 could have a 3-wing or a 5-wing.
Exactly. And
Okay.
these wings blend with your core type.
Okay. To influence your personality in really subtle ways.
Okay, so how do you know which wing is dominant?
That's where the self-reflection comes in.
Okay.
It's really paying attention to your natural tendencies,
Okay.
seeing which wing's characteristics resonate more strongly for you.
So if I'm a 9 with a 1 wing,
Uh-huh.
how would that be different than a 9 with an 8 wing?
Okay. So a 9 with a 1-wing might be more idealistic and principled.
Okay.
They really strive for that peace and harmony through like order and fairness.
Mm-hmm.
They might be drawn to causes that promote social justice or environmental sustainability.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And then like a 9 with an 8 wing.
That 9 might have a stronger sense of assertiveness
Okay.
and a greater capacity for action. They
Mhm.
might be more vocal about their beliefs and more likely to like take charge in situations where they see injustice happening.
Wow. Okay, those are really big differences.
Yeah, they can be.
Okay, that makes sense. So wings add like
A whole nother layer to it.
they do. It's really recognizing that no two people, even if they share the same core type, are exactly alike.
Okay, I love that. So I think we got the types, we got the wings.
Yes.
Now, subtypes, because I'm still a little fuzzy on how those work.
Okay, so some types are all about your instinctual drives, these
Okay.
primal forces that influence how you interact with the world.
Okay.
So there are 3 subtypes. You have self-preservation, social, and one-to-one.
So each Enneagram type can, like, kind of express itself through one of these 3 subtypes.
Exactly. So let's take type 2, the helper, for example.
Okay.
A self-preservation. 2 might focus on nurturing others through practical acts of service, like cooking meals,
Okay.
making sure everyone's got a comfortable place to sleep.
It's like their instinct to help is like channeled through taking care of like people's
Yeah.
basic needs.
Exactly. So now a social 2 might express their helpfulness by creating a sense of community and belonging. They might be the ones organizing the social gatherings, volunteering for charity events,
Okay.
really connecting people who share those common interests.
So it's all about like the collective good, like making sure everybody feels
Yeah,
included and supported.
exactly. And then lastly, a one-to-one 2 might channel their helpfulness through deep, intimate connections with individuals. They might be the friend that you always go to for like heart to heart,
Okay.
or the partner who just showers you with affection and attention.
Wow. So it's like the subtypes, the like add even more like
Yeah.
depth and dimension to it.
They really do. It's like looking at a painting up close. You start to see the individual brush strokes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a very visual person, so that really helps me.
Good.
Okay. This is all like starting to click for me.
Oh,
But I have a confession.
okay.
All those lines and arrows on that like Enneagram diagram
Yeah.
kind of freak me out.
Okay.
So
Oh.
I don't really know what they mean.
Okay, so those lines, they're actually pretty simple once you understand what they represent. They show the paths of integration and disintegration for each type.
Okay. Integration and disintegration.
Yes.
I'm interested, but also a little scared.
Mhm.
Like, what does that even mean?
Okay, so think of it this way. Integration is like leveling up. It's when you're moving towards greater health and wholeness.
Okay.
Disintegration is the opposite. So that's when you're stressed, you're falling into those unhealthy patterns.
Gotcha. Okay. So how do the lines like show us that?
So each line connects your core type to another type.
Mm-hmm.
The arrow shows you how your personality shifts
Okay.
when you're moving towards integration or when you're moving towards disintegration.
So it's like a roadmap for like personal growth.
Yes.
And also like potential pitfalls.
Exactly. So, for example, let's say you're a type 6.
Mhm.
When you're stressed, you might fall into those unhealthy patterns of a 3, becoming more competitive, more image conscious, more focused on achievements as a way to try to seek that security.
Okay.
But when you're growing and integrating, you tap into the healthy qualities of a 9, becoming more peaceful, more trusting, and more able to find that security within yourself.
So lines are actually like kind
Yeah.
of hopeful. They're showing us like not only where we might stumble, but like where we have the potential to grow.
Exactly. Growth is a journey, and the Enneagram provides us with that map to help navigate the ups and downs.
I love that. This is so much more than just a personality test. It's like a
Yeah.
guide for like
Yeah.
personal transformation.
It truly is. And the best part is no matter where you are on that journey, the Enneagram has those insights and tools to help you move towards a more fulfilling and authentic life.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah,
but knowledge is only powerful if you actually use it.
exactly. That's the next step.
So how can our listeners actually use
Yeah.
the Enneagram to like create positive change in their own lives?
Okay, yeah.
Like what are some like
Yeah.
practical steps,
Yeah.
like actionable things they can do?
Okay, so first step is awareness.
Okay.
Now that you have this deeper understanding of yourself and others, start paying attention to how your type's patterns show up in your daily life.
So like if I'm a 2, do I need to like scrutinize every nice thing I do to see if it's
Yeah.
coming from a genuine place or if it's coming from a fear of rejection?
Not necessarily scrutinizing, but observing.
Yeah.
Just notice those situations that trigger your need to help.
Okay.
Is it when you're feeling insecure in a relationship? When you're seeking validation?
Okay.
It's that awareness that's key to making those conscious choices.
So it's not about changing who you are. It's about like understanding your
Yeah.
default settings so you can like make more intentional decisions.
You're so right. Yeah. The Enneagram isn't about putting yourself in a box. It's about breaking free from those unconscious patterns that keep you stuck.
That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So besides like that awareness piece,
Yes.
what are some other practical ways to use the Enneagram?
So think about the relationships in your life.
Okay.
Understanding your partner's type, your friend's type, your coworker's type can completely transform how you communicate and connect with them.
Okay, give me an example. Like,
Yeah.
listen, my partner's a 5,
Yeah.
and I'm like feeling a little neglected
Yeah.
because they're always like
Yeah.
got their nose in a book.
Yeah. So knowing that 5s need a lot of alone time to recharge
Mm-hmm.
can help you to reframe that situation. It's not that they don't care.
Right.
They just express their love and affection differently.
Okay, so instead of me like taking
Yeah.
it personally,
Yeah.
I can be like, okay, I'm going to give them the space they need.
Yes.
And then when they're ready to engage, we can plan some like
Yeah.
quality time together.
Exactly. You're speaking their love language.
Gotcha.
You're understanding their needs and meeting them where they are.
This is so powerful.
is.
It's like a cheat sheet for like
Yeah.
building stronger relationships.
It can be such a game changer. And it can also help you to navigate conflict more effectively.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yes.
Because I'm always like looking for better ways to like handle like,
Yeah.
arguments and stuff with people I'm close to.
Absolutely. So knowing how each type reacts under stress
Mhm.
can really prevent those misunderstandings and resentments. So, for example, if you know your partner is a 7 who tends to run away from conflict, you can create that safe space for them to share their feelings without feeling trapped.
Okay, so instead of me like
Yeah.
chasing after them when they're like trying to avoid the conflict,
Yeah.
I can be like, okay, you need some space. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some space to process your emotions.
Exactly.
Know that they're going to come back around when you're ready.
You got it. It's about meeting them where they are and adapting your approach to their needs.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. Like this has been
Right.
such a revelation. What are your like final words of wisdom for our listeners as they kind of embark on their own Enneagram journey?
Remember that the Enneagram is a tool for self-discovery and growth. It's not a weapon.
Okay.
So don't use it against yourself or others. Approach it with curiosity, with compassion, and a willingness to learn.
And if you guys want to dive even deeper into all these nuances that we've been talking about today, I highly recommend you check out the Enneagram. Free test and complete guide to 9 Enneagram personality types, subtypes, and wings by Personality NFT.
Such a great resource.
It's amazing. It will help you unlock even more of the Enneagram's magic.
Absolutely. And remember, the most important thing is to use this knowledge to create that more fulfilling and meaningful life.
This has been such an incredible adventure. I feel like I'm walking away with like a whole new understanding of myself and everybody around me.
It's been so much fun exploring this with you.
Me too.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep embracing that power of self-discovery.